Well, I'm a huge Jason Blum fan and Blumhouse fan. I think they've made some spectacular movies in the past many years, and I was fortunate to get to meet Jason and work with him, get to know him a little bit on the film Split by M. Night Shyamalan. I just thought he was this film producer, but no, he's like this really artistic guy, and I admire so much what he's created with Blumhouse. You know, he champions young filmmakers, and he's so creative. And like right now, he has 85 projects in the works. I mean, who does that? He's like old school, only this modern, wonderful man who's like champions artists, young artists, and other artists as well. And so when I came off the Hello Dolly tour, I did the national tour of Hello Dolly for a year in 2018 and 19. Right after I finished that, he offered me a film at Blumhouse by a young writer, first-time director. And I was so exhausted from the tour that I just felt like I couldn't do the film for him, and I felt really bad about it. So I wrote him last summer saying, okay, I've got my, strength back, and what do you have out there that I can participate in? And he immediately, he's such a mensch, he doesn't make you wait a few days for his response to emails. He got right back that day and said, as a matter of fact, I have this script, I'm sending it to you now. And I was just so touched by that. So I read the script, I thought it was just very creative. This script is like his imagination gone wild. It's just like you can just see the contents of Jeff Wadlow's mind and dreams and nightmares, and I totally like that. And I like that he takes a kid's imagination and turns it into a whole other dimension world that one can actually go to and experience. And I like the idea of the endless potential of imagination, and to pay attention to a child's dreaming. That imagination can actually manifest in the world in a real way. And I think that's true. Everything that we experience and think about and believe in will happen, in so many ways. And that's why it's be really careful what you ask for, because it'll come true if you're not vigilant and say yes to this or no to that, So I like that thematically about the movie. I think fundamentally my character is just a very lonely, socially awkward, isolated person. So she's found her solace in books, and as an ardent student of spirituality and the spiritual universe and magic and the occult, and she's done all this study and work to learn as much as she could about everything that's been written about that, about shamanism, witchcraft, and she's made herself this intellectual authority about all those things because of the influence of this significant time in her life as young Jessica's babysitter. And she's experienced such wonder through the eyes of that child. And then when she's taken away, it just rocked her world. And so she, through her own desire to understand and desire to connect with that other dimension, she's written all these books and has sought to be understood in the world of intellectuals, and has been rejected there as well, because her ideas and what her notions are about this realm, they seem too far-fetched. Mm-hmm. So she's very anxious to prove that that's real. Yulin created the clothes, and I just step into it, put on my crazy glasses. Yeah, she's very creative, our costume designer. And so the Asian kind of influence of the clothes, I think her aspiration was to be a kind of monk of no specific religion, but just the amalgam of all spiritual truth that's out there. And she's pulled it together in like her own explanation of the universe and her explanation of other dimensions. And so, but she thinks of herself as a kind of aesthetic, a monk. Mm-hmm. Jeff and I met on Zoom, and I just found him utterly charming. I mean, the guy's super handsome, and just super enthusiastic. He's just so much fun. And so, again, I just felt like there's such joy being in his presence. And he goes, I want you to play Gloria. I mean, it was the easiest. You know, what do you have out there? I have this. Do you want to do it? And I'm like, yeah. And so I was very excited, but they hadn't scheduled it yet. And he handles the horror movie genre like you're tense and you're nervous at the right moment as you go through the spooky hallway. You know, he can make just the simplest shots carry the suspense and the fear factor. And I like that when a master of horror movie, stylistically, horror movies are also fun, you know, and there's a wit to it. I believe in my director and his incredible imagination. So I think it'll be great. Our set designers are out of this world, just filled with books and all of our research, and it's so eclectic. Just like, you know, you go into the set and you're just like, oh, this tells me everything about who I am as a character. And they, you know, they showed me all the scrapbooks that Bonnie had made, these scrapbooks of her research about children's imaginary friends and stuff, and it's so precise and so vast what they've done. And the set design in the Never Ever just is mind-boggling. It's so beautiful. I mean, just the sketches were just so artistic and incredible. And to actually walk on the set, you're like, what? How did they make this? It's stunning. Yeah, I'm just really grateful to be here. And like I said, I love Jason Blum, and I love Jeff Wadlow and DeWanda Wise, our wonderful, beautiful, talented, you know, powerful leading lady. I love working in New Orleans. It was so much fun to come back because I got to work with a lot of these people when I did Preacher here in 2018. And so it was just a joy to come back. I love the city, and I love the restaurants, and I love the view from my hotel room. And I've been feeling kind of nostalgic about driving through the streets of New Orleans, like, I love New Orleans. You know, it's so much fun to be here and see my friends that live here, and then to get to reacquaint, you know, to be reunited with people on the crew that I worked with before. It's like you have a history with those people, and they're so sweet. And yeah, I've had a really, really fun time, and I hope the movie from here provides the audience and other people, everybody that comes to see it with a fun time, because that's what it was for those of us making this movie.